Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbana zidna ilma. Allahumma faqihna fid din. Allahumma anfa'na bima 'allamtana wa 'allimna ma yanfa'una wa zidna ilma. Alhamdulillahi ala kulli hal. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We are here with our session number 23. Yes, Alhamdulillah. So I am going to start with review, inshallah. So during our last session, we were learning about Murakkabe Atf. So who is going to tell me the components of Murakkabe Atf? How many components did you see there? One, two, three. Pick one and answer. 2 or 3. See, remember there were two isms. There are two isms. One is Matuf alayhi. The first one is called Matuf alayhi. The second one is called Matuf. That comes after harf atf. So in total, there should be 1, 2, 3, right? So I have edited it in my slides as well. So keep that in mind. So the fragment that is formed between two isms is going to be comprised of 3 parts. One is going to be Matuf alayhi, then harf atf, and then it's going to be Matuf, right? Harf atf is also should be included so that we don't miss that part, right? Because this is what is connecting this guy and this guy, right? So for them to be connected, you have to have this connector, which is called harf atf. So now everyone tell me how many parts are there for Murakkabe Atf? 1, 2, or 3? Everyone type so that I know you are awake and you're paying attention. Okay, 3. Very well done. Okay, the first part, as we discussed before, was Matuf alayhi, because usually the older people have more weight and height if you look at siblings. So the first part has a bigger name, Matuf alayhi. The second part is, think of a sister number 2. She may be younger in age, and also her height may not be as, she may not be as tall as the older sister. So she has some brevity. So here Matuf is smaller word compared to Matuf alayhi. Okay, just so that you remember that which word in this case is going to be Matuf alayhi. What will you call Matuf alayhi in this fragment? That is right in front of you. Hudam wa Noor. Should I call Huda Matuf alayhi, or should I call Noor Matuf alayhi? Huda? Huda is Matuf alayhi. Waw harf atf. Waw harf atf. And Noor is going to be Matuf. Right? Huda Matuf alayhi. Waw my harf atf. Noor Matuf. Everyone with me so far? I hope this was clear. If there is any confusion, this should be now clear. Okay, so we were learning how we can figure out status of Matuf alayhi if a word like Huda, which cannot tell you if it is Raf, Nasb, or Jar. If you only have this part of the words and you cannot figure out, what can tell you the status? How can you figure out the status? Guess the status of Huda. What is the status of Huda here? Give me the status of Huda. Is it Raf, Nasb, or Jar? It is Raf, because you can easily see that Noor was Noorun. So this vow takes the status from Huda and it gives it to Noor. It does not have any power of its own, as we discussed in our last session. It does not have power of its own like harf jar. Because remember, when we have harf jar wow, what does it do to its ism? It makes it jar. It makes it majroor, right? It gets wal asri, right? Wal layli. So what did it do? It makes its ism jar. But when waw is atf, its job is just to transfer the status from one ism to another ism. It's just transferring. It does not have power of its own. Is it clear? Is this part clear, or there is any confusion about it? Type 1 if it is. So here, if you see Fir'aun wa junudu, just it wow is just transferring the status. For example, if I tell you, if I try, when I share my slides with Sister Faiza, and those slides reach you, right? So what is Sister Faiza doing? Is she doing the job of wow, or is she doing anything to the slides? She did not do anything to the slides. She just transferred whatever I sent her. She posted it. She just did the job of transfer. So she is, as it is, she's transferring everything to you. For example, if I ask Sister Ambreen today, give 500, I'm sending you $500, and you give these $500 to Sister, who should I give it to? Fauzia, okay? I sent her $500, and Sister Ambreen just transferred her to, gave it to Sister Fauzia. So did Sister Ambreen do anything on her own? Or did she just do the transfer job? She just transferred it. So that is the job of wow. Keep that in mind. Don't get confused here. It is a very important concept. In itself, in and of itself, it does not have any, a role. It's just doing the role of a messenger. Okay. For example, here it just transferred the status from Fir'aun to Junud, and the word became Raf. Here the word became Nasb, right? So by itself, wow does not have power to make any word Nasb, Jar, or Raf. Okay. Remember that. This wow has no power on its own. However, it is very smart. This wow transfers everything as it is in a very precise manner. There is no dishonesty, right? Whatever was received is given to the ism after it. Here, Ilah made Fir'aun. What status did we figure out last in our last session, that Ilah made Fir'aun what? Jar, right? Because it's one of the haruf jar. So it made it jar. Now wow came. So it acted as a messenger, and it transferred the status from Fir'aun to Mala'ihi, right? And we have the status jar here because of this murakkabe atf, because of this fragment. Because of this fragment, the status got transferred over. Otherwise, there was no way it could have been transferred. I hope this is clear to each and every one of you. Alhamdulillah. Do you think that this part is connected to this part? I just want to make sure that we are all on the same page. Ila Ibrahima wa Ismaila wa Ishaqa wa Yaquba wal Isbat. Can this part be connected to this part? Is there any way? No. Why? Why it cannot be connected? Yes, because you can see, first of all, there is no connector in between Asbat and Hud. Number one, there is no harf there to transfer the status. Number two, you are seeing the difference in status. These words, these three, 1, 2, 3, 4, these 4 names are partly flexible names. They are in actuality jar in status, but Hud is one of the words that is nasbin status, and it is fully flexible word, but there is no connection here. You see nothing that is connecting this to this. Okay, so don't get confused and pay full attention to whatever is being taught. Okay, inshallah. Everyone is with me? Because isbata it does not need to be nas. It is jar like all the isms before. Ibrahima is a partly flexible word. Ibrahima was actually Ibrahimi, but it cannot take kasra because it is partly flexible word. And sisters, we have done this. You know, when we are doing a recording, that is for the students who are taking live session as well. This is not just so that if you have missed the session. First of all, everyone should listen to the session, because otherwise recordings will be restricted. I'm not going to post recording. I will put restriction there, because if it is not being heard, then there's no point in adding it to the, to any forum, right? So number two is, if you have any confusion, the recording is there, so that, in the next 2-3 days, you can go back to recording and find out and figure out, where my weakness is, and where can I work on, and what is my question, and post it in the group. I hope this is clear, right? So the recording is not so that I like to listen to myself, or I want anything like that. Recording is for benefit of the students. So please do benefit from it, inshallah, because otherwise there's no point in recording a session. We can just do the session and that's it. Okay, so now, true or false, wow transfers the status from matuf alayhi to matuf, correct or no? Doing the job of transferring, right? My dear sisters, just a second. Yes, yeah, they are. Okay, so now, wow acts as a messenger. It has no power to give any status to ism after it, and we figured it out, right? If a ism after it is nasb, it's going to transfer the same status over to the next ism, right? So it's the same notes that I'm, sending to Sister Faiza, and she's posting in your Google Drive, right? There is nothing that changed. She doesn't make any change as of yet. Okay, is it clear? The same $500 I'm giving to Sister Ambreen, and she's going to give it to Sister Fauzia. She's not adding, she's not subtracting anything. She's acting as my messenger. Okay, she's doing that. She's giving me a favor of transferring everything as it is. I hope this is clear, because you have noticed that this vow just transfers whatever was before to just transfers the status from one ism to another ism. Keep that in mind. Okay, so now, but however, when we learned harf jar, it's a powerful word. The harf jar wow, does it have power to make a word jar? Yes or no? Yes, it does. Wal asri, right? Wal layli. And there are so many examples. There are so many oaths that start with wow. So keep that in mind. Okay. Now, if I give you this part of the verse, so what do you think is happening here? Do you see any fragment? Which fragment? Do you see any fragment here? What are you saying here? Akhahu. Very well done. Very well done. So akha, if you remember, is from which kinds of words? Did we learn these words? Akha, khamsa. Very well done. Asmaul khamsa. These are asma, not harf. Asmaul khamsa. Okay, these are asmaul khamsa that include abu, that include akhu. This akha is the nas version of that. Then zu, that includes hamu, that includes fu. Right? Keep that in mind. So akha, and these are called asmaul khamsa, special asma, because what have they have what is special about them? What is special about them? Very well done. So in addition to fatha, which is the status of which is denoting your nasb status, you have an additional alif, you have a corresponding letter. Like akhu, in addition to waw, in addition to dhamma, you have additional waw. In case of akhi, in addition to kasra, in a jar status, you have a corresponding letter ya with it. Everyone with me? Don't forget this. We have been doing it, but and you know, as long as you're trying to remember, you're good. Okay, you did not know any of this. Most of you, I think, did not know any of this before. So if you know this now, it's a star, right? So just when you are thinking about things, you just compare yourself where you were at the beginning of the course and where you are today. Okay, inshallah, that that helps. So asmaul khamsa, they're very special in the sense that when they are rough in status, they all they mostly comes as mudaf. One of them only comes as mudaf, which is zu. You will only see it as mudaf. Rest of them can be seen otherwise as well. But when these words, asmaul khamsa, I think I have something here. They come. They show their status by presence of a corresponding haraka. Like in addition to dhamma, fatha, kasra, they have corresponding letter attached to them. For example, can you see Sister Sadia here? Abu. No, this is Sister Ranas. This abu has nothing to do. This waw here has nothing to do with transference of status, right? This is just a part of this, word here. That waw will stand alone. That waw will not attach itself to anything. Okay. So akhu is like this. Hamu is like this. Fu is. I'm going to get to your question. Okay. Fu is like this, zu is like that. Okay. So, but when they come in nasb status, in addition to fatha, they are also having corresponding alif. In case of jar, they have corresponding ya. I hope this is clear. In a normal case, word abun, if I have to make it light, what should I be doing with the word? How will I make word abun light? Look at abu, right? You just remove the tanween and you give it you just remove tanween because your word is made light by removing noon. And this noon could be hidden in the form of tanween, or it could be, visible. And for example, if I give you a word walidani, I will make it light by just removing this noon, and walida is going to be the ending. Ending aleph is going to show that they are talking about two parents. Okay, but these words are special. When I'm making these words light, what am I adding? I'm adding a corresponding letter here. Waw in case of raf, alif in case of nasb, ya in case of jar. Everyone with me so far? Okay, and this is also something that we did, and inshallah, if there is any confusion, please go back to your recording. Your recording has this topic here, zarf, including special mudaf. Okay, so that the recording should have everything, how these words are different in Quran. These 5 words are asmaul khamsa, because there's a whole slide about them, why they are called um, so, and this should not be a problem. Okay, in rough status they end with letter waw and alif and ya. Okay, so now let's come to our review. So akhahu was your idafa, and you have this special ism that is showing its nasb status by presence of fatha along with an additional alif. Everyone can see this additional alif? Alhamdulillah. Now if I ask you status of Musa, what's the status of Musa? It's nasb in status, because my fragment is such that I know that waw did the job of transferring the status from here to here. No, Musa is nasb in status because it is not ahu, right? If it was ahu, then it would have been raf in status. But since it is akhahu, so it is Musa is nasb in status. My word is nasb in status. I hope this is clear. Okay. Now, there was another fragment here. Who is going to tell me how many fragments we can see here? There are 2. What do you want me to repeat, Sister Ranas? My dear, because waw is transferring the status. So we know that this word must have been nasb. That is why akha is akha, because waw is the connector in between these 2 asma. Waw connected Musa with akha. Musa and his brother are connected through this waw. And that is why, because I could tell the status of this word, I can figure out status of Musa very easily. Because I know my murakkabe atf. So since I know my murakkabe atf, so I know that these both asma, they are connected through this harf atf, and they are going to be both nasb in status. Absolutely, it's a detail, because what happened? Arsalna, we sent. So what are your 3 steps when you see a sentence like this? Who's going to tell me the 3-step approach? 3-step approach if I have to determine, why this is nasb in status. Does anyone remember? Number 1, in any given sentence, we figure out what is our action. Action was sent, right? Then action, doer. Number 2 is doer. Number 3 is whatever is left is detail, right? So if I see the sentence, we sent Musa and his brother. So we sent, there was an action, sending was an action, doer is we, and detail is the rest. So Musa and akhahu are the details or the objects, or because they received an action, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that he sent he sent Musa alayhi salam and his brother Harun, right? Is it clear or no? This is something that we did in the past, right? Alhamdulillah. Action, doer, detail. These are your 3 steps, my dear sisters, and keep on reminding yourself. And I'm also doing that, because when you are not doing the beginning things, like the beginning grammar, or then you tend to forget this. Okay, so but this is very important. We cannot leave that forgotten. This is very important, because this was taught for some reason, inshallah. Okay, so now bi ayatina, you already told me there are 2 fragments. The first fragment is what is al jar wal majroor. Very well done. The second fragment is your ayatina, is your idafa, right? It's an idafa. Now what is happening here? What is this? Wow. What will you call this waw? Atf. Everyone can call it atf. Easy. So what is happening to Sultan? Why is Sultan jar in status? Yes, waw transferred the status. Waw is your matuf. Ayat were your matuf alayhi. Waw, Sultan is your matuf. Waw is your harf atf. Why is mubin jar in status? It is sifa. It's sifa. To be precise, mubin is jar in status because it is a description for Sultan. Everyone, because they are making clear authority. Clear authority. It is the sifa for Sultan. Okay, Sultan is al-mawsuf and mubin is sifa. And this is all. I think I have opened it up for you guys. So this is how you are going to attempt it. Okay, inshallah. Everyone with me so far? Alhamdulillah. Okay. So before I take you to another practice, I am going to teach you whatever was left. Okay. So your last fragment that you are going to do with me today is going to be al-ismul ishara wa mushar ilayhi. Okay. Al-ismul ishara wa mushar ilayhi. And I will request one of you to unmute yourself. Whosoever raises their hand first, they are going to tell me this table, because this was something that was assigned to you as a homework to memorize it again. And and if you have not, that's acceptable at this point. However, you can just see and let me know what this table is saying. Okay, you can unmute yourself, Azra, and you can read this table.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamu warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Haza, 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 hazani, hazaini, hazaini, haulai, haulai, haulai.
Perfect. Barakallahu feek. Faiza, if you want to unmute yourself.
जी इसी को रिपीट करूं?
हाँ जी.
हाजा 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 हाजानी हाजैनी हाजैनी हाउलाई हाउलाई हाउलाई.
Barakallahu feek. Now let me know, my dear sisters. I see Sister Sabra's hand raised as well, and I will give her a chance to do the feminine chart. But before we go to the feminine table, let me ask you a question. What do you think about this word haza in terms of flexibility? It looks the same in all three forms, non-flexible. Very well done. What have we learned about its type? What do you know about its type? It's proper. It's proper. It's proper. Your pointers, your pronouns, your relative pronouns, they're all proper. Okay. This is non-flexible because it is looking the same in all three cases. What about haulai? In terms of flexibility, it's again the same. However, when I am making a table like this for you, there's a reason behind it. Okay, it can be doing, this means that haza can do anything in your verse. Okay, that is why it can sometimes, it is going to be sometimes rough, sometimes nasb, sometimes jar in status. Is there something clear? You may not be able to tell its status by looking at the word, but it can be anything. Okay, however, you will be able to identify the status based on the context in the verse. Okay, you should be able to identify the status based on the verse, and based on the context in any given verse, you should be able to identify. Okay, so let's see the feminine table. And this is haza is also, is it a near pointer or a far pointer? Haza. It's written on the slide as well, so it's a near pointer, right? Keep that in mind. So in English, it is this. This means these two, and this means these three plus, right? Three or more. Everyone with me so far? Alhamdulillah. So let's ask Sister Sabra to unmute herself and recite this table for us. Near pointers that are feminine.
Yeah. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamu warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
So hadihi, hatani, haulai, hadihi, we
Sorry.
can do
Yeah,
the whole
vertically.
thing. Okay.
Yeah, no, like
Sure.
hadihi, so that everyone knows that we know that this is going to remain the same in all three statuses.
Okay, inshallah. Okay. Which mufrad will be hadihi, 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 hatani, hataini, hataini, haulai, haulai, haulai. Jazakallah.
Barakallahu feek. Very well done. So everyone here, you can see again, this word is going to remain. It's going to look the same in all three statuses. Any question regarding that? Type 1 if you understood this point. All of them are proper. All of them are proper. So haulai can have three statuses. It's easy. The plural. It is plural for for feminine and masculine. Feminine and masculine both have the same plural, right? Now your 5 pointers: zalika, 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 zanika, zainika, zainika, ulaika, ulaika, ulaika. What do you see here? What do you see here? Zalika. Same, non-flexible, right? And same in ulaika form. They're all non-flexible. They're all proper. But when I have put them like this, that means, they can be of different status. Okay. Similarly, tilka is going to be in all three statuses looking like tilka. There is no tilku, tilka, tilka, tilki. No, it's not like that. It is just tilka, tilka, tilka. Okay. And ulaika, ulaika, ulaika. So they are not flexible. I hope everyone has understood this part. Alhamdulillah. And these are your far pointers. This is your masculine far pointer, and this is your feminine far pointer. Okay. So these fragments, these some pointers, these ism ishara can be seen in Quran in other fragments as well. Okay. What do you think about bihaza? What is happening here? Which fragment are you seeing here? It is jar and status because of bi. So you are seeing al jar wal majroor. Everyone understood this? Al jar was your bi and haza was majroor, right? And since it is not flexible, it's not going to tell you, its status. Inna haulai. What do you think about this? Which fragment? Harf of nasb and its ism, right? Harf of nasb and its ism. Harf of nasb wa ismuha. So what is the status of haulai here? It is nasb status because it was, beaten up by inna. It was affected by inna. Everyone with me so far? Ba'di zalika. Ba'di zalika. What do you see here? What's the status of zalika? It's an idafa. Very well done, because ba'da is your special mudaf, usually seen in nasb status, because usually a detail, unless it is preceded by harjar, which it is being preceded by here. Min is making it majroor, and it 99% of cases it makes idafa. And sometimes when it does not make idafa, what happens to badi if there is no mudaf ilayhi after it? Does anyone remember? I want new students to answer. So yeah, so but I've alhamdulillah, all students are so good that they could not resist, and that's totally fine. I would really appreciate that you are so attentive and you are always there, so interactive. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept it from you and keep your intentions pure for his sake alone. Alhamdulillah. So if there was no mudaf ilayhi here, it would have been very angry, very alone, as Sister Alina once mentioned. So it would have been with dhamma. Okay, mim ba'du. But no, here it is mim ba'di because it has a mudaf ilayhi after that. Ba'di means after, and zalika means that. So everyone can see that there is an idafa here, and that is why your body did not get angry or lonely, didn't feel lonely, because it has its mudaf ilayhi. Okay, so you can see that it can take kasra, it can take no, it's not going to take kasra, but it can be jarin status, it can be nasbin status, it can be rafin status, it can be in all three statuses. Okay, so it's not going to take fatha. It's because you remember it's non-flexible, but it can be of any status. That's the point that you have to all remember. It can be anything. It can be raf, nasb, and jar, but since it's a non-flexible word, haza or zalika, haulai or ulaika, hazehi, so those words can be of any status, but they are non-flexible, so they will be ending always in the same way. They cannot show us their status, however, with context, because now you have learned your al-jar wal-majroor, and that was the purpose of teaching you al-jar wal-majroor, that whenever you see an ism right after harf jar, you are able to tell that this is al-jar wal-majroor, right? Jar was B, harf jar was B, and haza was its majroor. It made it jar. Inna, harf of nasb, after it comes its ism, so it's always it has to be nasb status, right? So now learn a few things about al-ism al-ishara wa mushar ilayhi. So that the brief overview was about pointers as a whole. Okay, I did not talk about any fragment when I was talking about these asmaul ishara. Okay, we were just talking about how they are non-flexible, they are going to be proper always, and they can be of any status. Up until this point, we just learned few properties of our asmaul ishara. Now we are going to learn them, how they can be used in formation of a fragment. This fragment is called ismul ishara wa mushar ilayhi. Okay, ismul ishara wa mushar ilayhi. Your ismul ishara are these guys here. Okay, that we just reviewed. Everyone understood this? Your haza, hazehi, these are your asmaul ishara. That's all. Okay, always remember that. So this fragment is made up of two parts. The first part is the pointing word itself. Okay, that is called ismul ishara. The second part, which is being pointed at, is mushar ilayhi. Okay, it's called mushar ilayhi. Okay, for example, let me show you. Okay, if I give you this word hazal baytu, so where is ismul ishara? Haza, clear? Haza is going to be ismul ishara, and al baytu is going to be al mushar ilayhi. Easy. Al baytu is going to be al mushar ilayhi. It's easy, simple, no rocket science here. Okay, so what are the grammatical rules that this fragment has to follow? Okay, there are three rules that you need to know at this point. All four properties of ismul ishara and mushar ilayhi must match. What should happen to ismul ishara and mushar ilayhi? All four properties of ismul ishara and mushar ilayhi must match. Mushar ilayhi must have al on it. Nothing can come between ismul ishara and its mushar ilayhi. Yes, Sister Anas, you got it. Yes, all four properties must match. mushar alayhi must have al. Nothing can come between them. No long distance relationship here. No long distance relationship. Do you remember any fragments that can tolerate distance between them? What are the fragments that can have harf of nasb and its victim? Very well done. Al-mawsuf was-sifa, right? An ism that have 4 matching properties, we have seen that there can be other isms that can be between them. So, or harf in between the 2 isms that have all 4 matching properties, okay? So I hope everyone is with me so far. This ismul ishara wa mushar ilayhi matches in this case with idafa and al jar wal majroor, that nothing can come between its ism and its, and in itself, okay? So ismul ishara and mushar ilayhi cannot have any other ism in between them. I hope this point is clear to everyone. So I'm going to show you an example here. So hazal baytu. Since this is happening here, what do you think will be the status of haza? It's going to be rough in status, right? You have to use your common sense as well. Sometimes, we don't use it as much, but it comes handy. Very important to use it. Okay, so al-baytu is masculine, right? Everyone agrees? There's another word used for house that is feminine and is among your bus story. Very well done, Aisha. So proud of you. Dar was the house that is feminine, but Bait was not feminine. Okay, it's masculine. So when you remember things like that, that tells me that your future is very, very bright in grammar. Alhamdulillah. Okay. So hazal baytu. What is the number here? Haza 1, bait 1, house. This is this house. One number is 1. Are both proper? Both are proper, right? So both masculine, both proper, both singular, and the status, this cannot show its status, but if rough works for us, we will say it is rough in status. Is this clear? Alhamdulillah. Okay. Now if I remove this al from bait, do you know how I'm going to translate it? You can see it on my screen. When I remove al from it, instead of a fragment, my phrase is going to be now a sentence, will change into a sentence. Okay? Hazal baytu means this house. Okay, this house. Haza baytun, this is a house. Okay? When I remove al from this word, it's going to change into a sentence. And I will put an is there. Okay? In Arabic, there is no is. Is invisible. We just figure it out, and we will learn it how to figure it out in no time. Inshallah, it's coming very soon. So everyone understood this so far? I hope. Hadhil qarya match the 4 properties. Both are gender-wise, both are feminine, both are proper, both are singular. Yes, so I can say Hazil Karyatu. You can just think, I did not put a harka at the end, but you can think of it as Karyatu. So everyone can, figure out that this will mean this town. This town, right? Now I remove this al from the word. I am removing this al. So how will I translate it? I will translate it as this is a town and this is going to be translated in the form of a sentence, right? You all can understand this, I hope. Alhamdulillah. So let's see some examples from Quran. So do you see in the first verse from Surah An-Naml, do you see any al-ismul ishara wal mushar ilayhi? Haza is there. So what is happening here? Can you call it a fragment? Ismul ishara wa mushar ilayhi. Can you call it? All four properties are matching? You think so? Both masculine, both proper, both singular, and status wise, I know the status of Haza is what? If Quran was not there, even if Quran was not there, I could figure out status of Haza. How? Why is it nasb? Why is it nasb? That's the question. Because of inna. Inna made Haza nasb. Everyone with me so far? When we learn a new fragment, we do not forget our the last one. That's also something you all have to keep in mind. If I teach you something new, doesn't mean that you have to forget whatever you learned in the last class. Inshallah. Okay. Now let me take you to another example from Surah Zumar. Very beautiful surah of Quran. Every surah is beautiful, but it's very close to my heart. Beautiful lessons here as well. So now, do you see any ismul ishara wa mushar ilayhi, since this is the topic for today? You are seeing it, okay? Again, it is Hazal Quran. Everyone agrees. So now tell me, what's the status of Haza? It's jar. Now, what makes it? What made it jar? Fi. Very well done, Azra. Fi. Very well done, Aisha, Faiza, Sister Sabra. Fi has given this, Fi has made Haza jar. And when Haza al-Qur'ani was making ismul ishara wa mushar ilayhi, they had to match in all four properties, right? So Qur'ani is jar because they're here. We see a fragment called al-ismul ishara wa mushar ilayhi. Okay, so here, anzalna hazal Quran. What do you think about this one? Here again, fragment, and both are, the sentence means anzalna hazal Quran. We sent down this Quran. So what's the first step to figure out the status of Haza? Even if Quran was without any haraka. Nas because of detail, right? Nas because of detail. So the stepwise for new students and also for old students, I want you to do things in a methodical way. So we sent down, action was sending down. Who did it? We, right? We is the doer. Number two, first is action, that is sending down. Number two is doer, that is we here. Sorry, we in anzalna, and then rest is all detail, which is Hazal Quran. Everyone understood it and is with me so far? I hope. It's not too philosophical, because sometimes things are, a little harder to understand. Alhamdulillah. So let's come to another example. Very, very beautiful example from Surah Al-Baqarah. Brings smile to my face. I don't know why. Verse number 35. You too do not go near this tree. Okay. So do you see any fragment that we are studying today? Al-ismul ishara wa mushar ilayhi. Hazihil shajaratan. Now match the properties. Both are gender-wise. Both are feminine. Wow, we are not going to consider because we don't know what is before it. Because wow not only connects sentences, fragments, and words. Because wow can also connect, long sentences. It's you have learned for the most part how it connects to asma, and we have done some fragments as well. However, waw can connect long sentences together. So it is, this whole sentence will have a matuf alayhi before it. Okay, so we'll not focus on that. We will focus on hazihil shajarata. So everyone, hazihil shajarata, hazihi is nasb status. You can cheat by very easily because shajarata was nasb status, right? So you can figure out that hazihi is nasb status. However, if you do stepwise approach, that is also good. Action, don't go, right? You two do not go. So who's the doer? You two are the doers. Adam alayhi salam and our mother Hawa. And then you two do not come near. Do not come near. Come near is your action. Doers are you, Adam alayhi salam and Hawa, our mother. And rest is all detail. So that is why hazihi is going to be nasb status. Everyone with me so far, I would imagine? If you are not understanding, don't feel shy because the test is coming and we want you to do extremely well. Okay. So, فَلْيَعْبُدُوا رَبَّ هَذَا الْبَيْتِ. So, if I did not give you, do you see any, first of all, my first question is, do you see any fragment that we are learning today? Yes, we hazal bait, because haza followed by al is going to be your fragment. Very well done. All four properties matching? You agree? Both masculine, we have done it. This example, we just did it, right? But now tell me, what made haza jar? Why? Yes, Rabba made it jar because it is, how is it connected to Rabba? It is in Idafa. Very well done. Sister Zarina, Sister Zohra, Azra, Aisha. Do not forget your basics. Whatever we learn in the previous session doesn't mean it has to, leave your mind. It has to be there because we are going to, inshallah, learn lots and lots of things, inshallah, together. So, master of this house, right? It's a beautiful verse from Quran. Beautiful, beautiful verse. The power, the glory, the majesty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then they should worship master of this, Rabb of this house. I hope everyone understood this. So Haza was jar and all four properties were matching, and here we are. Okay. Now, just a few more examples. Okay. Do you see any Ismul Ishara in verse number 31 of Surah Al-Baqarah? You see Ismul Ishara. What is that? What should I call Ismul Ishara? Haulai. Very well done. It's so difficult to spell, but beautiful word, right? So now tell me, who can tell me the status of this word? Whenever you have to figure out, yes, it is jar. Okay, it is jar. Why? Asma'i. Not because of ba. No, my dear sisters. Asma'i was jar because of ba. Be asma'i, al jar wal majroor. But asma'i, look at asma'i, idafa. It is majroor bil idafa. Remember that. Only asma'i B was only acting on asma'i because her jar will not have long distance relationship with its ism. That's what I taught you, right? We reviewed it today. Everyone with me so far? Right? I just told you this. And I'm going to, stay on what I said. I'm strongly convinced about this. I gave you a few exceptions, but those, it's important to give because when you are teaching a class, it is already has learned a lot. So they need to know additional information as well, so that they know that there are some, there is always room for exceptions. Okay. So asma'i haulai, name of these. There's an idafa. And that is why I know my haulai is jar. Is this making any fragment other than, is this ismul ishara wa mushar ilayhi fragment here? No, right? There is no ismul ishara wa mushar ilayhi fragment here. No, we are not going to call it like that. Now look at this. Do you see any fragment? Dabira haulai, root of these. Dabir means root, right? Dabira was light, no alif lam, followed by an ism that could be jar. So we will consider it jar. So it's also majroor because it is mudaf ilayhi of dabir. What is happening here? Annad dabira. What is happening here? Nasab mansub, harf of nasab, wa ismuha. Okay. Now we are in here. Another verse. Haulai is again there. You can all see it's your ismul ishara. Do you see it in any fragment? Do you see any fragment here that you have learned? Yes, it's nas because of the detail, but I'm talking about fragment. We are not, yes, murakkabe atf, right? Haulai wa aba'ahum. So we know, even if I did not tell you that that it is a detail of what, if we don't consider it as a whole verse, if we just take haulai by itself, wa aba'ahum, we can say that here it is forming murakkabe atf. Waw was the connector. Haulai was matuf alayhi. Aba'a was matuf, right? And because of matuf can show status like aba'uhum, aba'ihim, aba'ahum. So I can tell that, this is going to be haulai. What's the status of haulai? Nasb, right? Because waw transferred the status from haulai to aba'ahum. Inna haulai, again, it's now simple. So there is another class that's going to be happening on the same forum, and I have to, I think, end the session. I'm going to send you these notes. There is this last part. I'm not going to teach you at this point. We will discuss it later. So for now, please go through your notes. Kindly catch up on your recordings. Otherwise, recordings will not be shared if you are not going through them, because there's no point in having them. So inshallah, we will now begin our review only from Monday. Not from Monday, from Wednesday. So with that, let me make dua. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik, nashhadu la ilaha illa anta, nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.